It's an online multimedia video course, and it's delivered starting January 20th. So enrollment is open right now, and it closes on January 16th. And then the first module, technically the first module, you guys can preview that for free. The first module right now is just introduction. So we're not getting into the nutrition information just yet, but what the first module will do is introduce you to Liz and myself, give you more of our backgrounds, and also show you how the website works. It'll show you what the videos are like. You'll kind of get a feel for what's there. So if you're just curious, like, what is this thing? You can totally go, you can click enroll, and before you pay, you'll get access to that first module. And if you need help figuring that out, again, email us at masterclass@balancebites.com. So the class kicks off on January 20th, and we release one module every Friday for 10 weeks. Actually, it's 9 modules, but one module is so big. That's the fat and cholesterol module. And Liz, when we used to teach that in person, I feel like it was 2 hours or more of the class. It was like, no, it was like half the day was on fat and cholesterol, don't you think? It was pretty much.
It was.
Because there's so many questions too. But it's online, and you can follow along week by week and keep up with us. We're going to be doing live calls that pertain to the previous week's released module. We'll do them here on Facebook. So people are asking, do I need to have Facebook? You do, but obviously those of you watching have Facebook. But you don't have to follow along on that schedule. If you're like, you know what, January, I just can't get started. I can't even start in February. Once March rolls around, I'll be good. Or if you're like, I can do it this summer, you need to enroll now because enrollment won't be open later, but you can totally pace it out however you want. The only thing you'll be missing out on are the live calls and the same level of attention from us in the Facebook group. That doesn't mean we're going to abandon people who are in the Facebook group who may be kind of straggling behind in terms of the timeline. We'll still answer questions there when we log in to do our office hours, but you just won't be able to access the live calls. So there's that. First of all, both of our books, Practical Paleo 2nd edition and Eat the Yolks, are required reading, and they're sort of like the textbooks for this course. And so what we do in the class is actually take you kind of beyond what's in the books and show you how to apply it to your everyday life. Because I think what I see a lot of people doing is like reading them, or some people have Practical Paleo and have never like read the first 100 and something pages, which is fine, I get it. But you're using the recipes and you haven't read the front, which is a lot of information. And to that end, sometimes it's hard to figure out like, well, what do I do with this? So now it's kind of both of these books come to life and expanded upon. Did you want to say more about that, Liz?
Part of it too, especially in this first go round, is the support.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many times when I was reading your book, I would text you and be like, hey, what do you think about this? And having us there for that purpose, I think, is going to be pretty huge. We don't know how many times we'll be able to do that in the classes that we run in the future, but at least at this point, you have some really great support from us personally.
Yes. So we have live calls weekly. If we can do them this way with the video, we're going to, and it just kind of depends on technology and what's going on, but these will be offered within the closed Facebook group, so we can broadcast this either to a page or to a group, and so we'll be broadcasting that only to our closed groups. I know a lot of you watching are practitioners in the sense that you are a health coach or a nutrition coach, or you're a personal trainer. Anybody who works one-on-one with people in a health and wellness capacity who has any kind of credential otherwise. So like maybe you've gone through an NTA program, maybe you've done the IIN program, you're a health coach, maybe you are an RD or an RN or a chiropractor, acupuncturist. I don't know if there's any others that you can think of off the top of your head, but basically, if you work with people, then taking this course as a practitioner is what you want to do. Because if you take it as a student, you're only getting tested on a fraction of the information. So maybe that seems less daunting, but if you're a practitioner and you want to learn how to apply this to your clients, and you want to test your knowledge in a deeper way, the way that we take the content in terms of the videos is the same, but what we ask you about and how we test your knowledge thereafter is really different. So it's more challenging as a practitioner. And also the Facebook group, if you are a practitioner and you sign up as a student, you'll be in a Facebook group with just students, and you'll be kind of looking around virtually like, I don't think this is where I belong. No, you know what I mean? Like, you'll be watching people ask questions and you'll realize you're not in the right place. So that's part of what we want to do on this call, is clarify for you if you're a practitioner. And if you already signed up as a student and you realize, uh-oh, I'm a practitioner, don't worry. Just email us, masterclass@balancebites.com, and we'll get it sorted out for you. I expect at least around 3 hours for our students, maybe more like 4 for our practitioners. Do you think it's going to be less than that, Liz, or more maybe?
I'm not sure. For me, it would probably be more, but I tend to be, we talked about it when we recorded the podcast today, I tend to be a little bit obsessive as I'm learning things. But I think you're about spot on there.
Yeah, and it kind of depends too how much of the content is new information to you and how much is being reinforced or perhaps taught in a new way. And certain modules, you might find that you have more offline time of journaling and figuring out how to apply it to yourself, whereas other modules you may not. That seems like it'll be pretty logical. So it's going to depend, but I think at least 3 hours. I mean, it's a class. It's a real class. This is not a willy-nilly, repetition of our books. That's absolutely not what it is. And I kind of can't wait for people to get into it and see exactly what it is, because I think most of you are going to be like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. But I think you're also going to love it.
Probably not. It will not be offered more than once in 2017. This is our big debut. We're dumping all of our energy and everything we've got into this one go round for 2017. And we don't anticipate doing it again this year.
Yeah. So as you heard, it's 10 weeks. So that takes up in total, once we're introducing it, and then the 10 weeks, it's really more like 3 months for us at a minimum. So we have lots of projects in the hopper. So just once. Yes, and part of that might come from us in our office hours on Facebook, but part of that's also going to come from the community aspect of the groups, because while this program isn't created for you to whittle down a list of yes/no foods for yourself, it is here to teach you how does that food work for me,
Okay, so one of our big things in the podcast and everything we do is we don't talk about the food first. It's about how the body works. And so not only will you get ideas of what foods will work for you directly, you're going to be able to figure that out pretty darn easily yourself once you understand the important physiology, the digestive stuff that we talk about, the myth busting that we do. It's going to make it very intuitive for you to make those choices on your own and test things out, knowing exactly what to look for as far as how to feel confident personalizing your own choices. I think that's probably seems like a small nuance, but I think it's a really important distinction.
Yes, and when we say lifetime, we mean lifetime of I don't know what's going to happen in 10 years if this website that we load it to exists. I don't know about all of that, but lifetime of us offering the program and it existing, for sure, you have lifetime access. So for the practitioners, access to practitioner extras, so the community group, the additional content that we'll create for that in the coming years, all of that is available to you for 1 year. And after that, there's an annual renewal, because what you also get with that is our support in a practitioner group for you, as well as a listing on balancebites.com as a certified practitioner. And a lot of what goes into that, there's a lot of behind the scenes support and design and different things that we put our energies into to continue to support you as the practitioners. And you're welcome to stay on as a certified practitioner, or you don't have to. But what will happen after the first year, if you sign up as a practitioner and you don't want to continue with that part of it, you will continue to have access to the student materials. So you'll always have access to the videos and the audio downloads and the basic workbooks. But anything you download immediately from the program, you will have that, right? You download it to your computer, you're welcome to print it out. You'll have all of that, but on an ongoing basis. And any of you who are watching who are 21-day sugar detox coaches know we continue to create resources for you. We do a lot of stuff to help you in terms of marketing. We give you graphics. We give you so much to help you use this to grow your business that we don't have a set amount of content that we're promising, because what we do is we listen to what it is you would like to have. All different types of resources that in time, if we hear from you guys, hey, can we have a quick whatever it is about blood sugar, then that's something that my team and I will look into, and we'll figure out what the demand is for it. And we're here to help you with that. So that's what happens with being able to have access beyond that as a practitioner. There is, but it's much easier than the test for the practitioners. And I can say this because in editing everything and reviewing it, and Liz saw it too, what we edited initially were all the practitioner workbooks. And then I had my team who are Holly and Kate, who are in NTP and NTC. I was like, you know what? I think this is actually too hard for the student class. I think it's perfect for our practitioners. It's pretty demanding, you guys. Anybody who knows me knows my level of demand for a lot of things tends to be pretty high. So our expectation of you is really high as a practitioner, but for the students, it's 10 questions. It's not a pass-fail course, so you're taking it as a student. You get from it whatever you want, but as a practitioner, if you're trying to get CEUs, you do need to fill in all of the answers. We don't have a testing grade level for you, but we'll let you know if you're just really kind of faltering, but it's not set up to have you fail. It's really set up to have you succeed. That being said, you're not going to look at the test and just know how to fill it in off the bat. Are you laughing because they're hard?
Good. It was hard for me when I reviewed all of them. When I went through and put my edits in, I was like, oh man.
Without watching the module, it's not always intuitive what the answer might be. So It's not always just stuff that you know off the top of your head. And it's particular to what we're teaching. So the context matters.
It was a good refresher. It was good.
I laughed at myself while I was editing them. I was like, this is hard.
So if you've already been through the NTA or the NTC course load and you are a certified nutritional therapy practitioner, I think you will find, and this is the big reason why they've granted us so many CEUs for our course, it is I don't want to say a broadened perspective, because there are things that the NTA covers that we do not. It's taking out kind of a capsule of what the NTA covers for its practitioners and expanding upon that information. So it's digging deeper into aspects of your trade as a nutrition practitioner and really, really digging deep on things like cholesterol physiology, on the history of the standard American diet, which is also something that I cover in my book. It's really giving extra punch to some of the stuff that is covered in your education. And that's why we've been so excited to be able to offer so many CEUs for NTCs and NTPs. They're really, really complementary. So if you haven't been through the NTA program and you're deciding between our program or theirs, I can't really tell you what might be best for you. It just kind of depends on where you are in your personal journey, whether you want to do this professionally or whether you're just interested in the information for yourself. Diane, maybe you have a perspective on that, but I think it's a really individual decision.
Yeah. Well, if you are curious, so this is a really good place to mention this. If you're somebody who's like, I'm geeked out on this stuff, every week I listen to the Mountain Fights podcast and I want to learn more. I just want to keep learning more. But a program that's either like $5,000 or $10,000, you're not sure if you want to learn that much. And you're also not sure if you want to apply this to clients. You might just want to learn more. Then this program is perfect. It's also the perfect gateway before you might start an NTA program or a Bowman program or even IIN. I think we might actually get into a little more biochemistry than you learn in the IIN program. So that might be interesting to those of you who are health coaches through IIN to come do this program. But also note that if you do decide to go to another program and take that certification, because this course doesn't certify you at any state level, with a title to do something in terms of coaching others on nutrition. This is personal, nutritional education, as well as just support for your practice if it's the practitioner side. But if you do get another certification and you took the class originally as a student, we will have a way for you to just upgrade to be a practitioner so that you can have access to the rest of those materials, and you'll just be able to make up the difference between the different testing materials, etc.
And if you want to do both, find out where the Nutritional Therapy Association is in their enrollment period. You can kind of plan when you can enroll there, and maybe you want to do ours first or vice versa.
Yeah, I think there's a new class starting pretty soon. So we've had quite a few people say, well, I'm starting in February or March. So that's fine. I would not start this program at the same time as starting a certification. This is not to be taken lightly. If you are like kind of freaking out because you want to do this, but you are already starting NTA, you're welcome to sign up as a student, because then you'll have the access. You can do it later. You can do it at any time. And we don't know if the price is going to be the same next year. It definitely will not be less expensive. So if you want to do it, then by all means go ahead. But especially if it is a financial stretch for you, or if you're just not sure, then wait and go ahead and do your certification.
I think one of the most important things in self-healing is knowing how to modify and respond continuously to what your body's doing. So I think what this course will do for folks with those types of concerns is enable you and empower you to make the edits, make the changes continuously as things change. So you can always get a set of instructions. Here you go, do these things for however long, and good luck from there. But what we really want folks to do is to know why these things are happening, how to take care of it moment by moment and day by day. And I think part of the most important thing for me, and this is where the exercises at the end for the students come in really handy, is to be able to re-articulate the material to yourself. Because it's one thing to be told these things, whether that's by a book or by a program. It's an entirely other thing to be able to sit there, think, this is what I'm experiencing at this moment. What do I do? And to be able to say, oh, I learned this, I know this, and I think this is going to work. So that self-determination is really, really powerful. It's why I've stuck with these types of things for so long with this way of living. And that's really where the rubber meets the road with this type of stuff.
Yes, agreed. It's probably going to turn on a lot of light bulbs for you about why you might be like banging your head against the wall and not seeing changes because of what we teach, where it's not just about food having a cause and effect relationship in the body. It's not, I eat this, I feel this. It's not a singular input. So when we talk about stress and all the inputs of stress going on in our life in the program, or when we talk about some of the beliefs that we've held on to, or even how we're influenced to make decisions, all of that can feed into what then happens with food choices. But it's not just about the food. How food affects us is not just about the food. Couple of things. There's a workbook that's more of a test your knowledge, and also sections of the workbook are intended for you to see how to apply it to your life. The journal itself is more of just a place to put what you ate, your movement, your sleep, and just kind of track how you're feeling. And you don't have to do it if you don't want to, but it's there to just hold you accountable and give you something to touch back to, so that 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks into the course, you can actually see your own progress. And if you go at your own pace, the discussion in the group, it probably won't be exactly the same, And I think that's kind of par for the course of taking something at your own pace, because nobody else is going to be able to determine exactly what your pace is going to be. So we set the pace based on what we saw in our beta testing group, which was people were pretty good with keeping up with that one module per week. We made one change based on that, in that module 3 is divided into 2 weeks because it's a really big module and people got a little bit stuck getting through all that content. So we broke it up. So that's why it's 9 modules in 10 weeks. So naturally it's going to happen that if you're self-pacing, how can anyone know how to like keep up with you? But you'll have access to the Facebook group. You guys know, if you're a nutrition nerd, you like to talk about this stuff. People are going to want to answer your question and help you out. And Liz and I will be checking in. We'll have some office hours. But in terms of what our commitment is beyond that initial 10 weeks, it's not going to be the same as it is during the live course time.
The big differentiating factor between the non-practitioner track and the practitioner track, both are equally important to us. They are both like the fruit of our loins. I just said that. Can't take it back because this is live, but they're very important to us. And the people going through each program are very important to us. So folks that are just working on their own health, they feel like this lifestyle is working for them. They've got a little bit of an introduction to it, but they want to know more so they can really have some ownership in their journey and not feel like they are depending on a practitioner or another program or a book or what have you. We want you to learn everything you need to know to self-determine your health and your journey going forward. You're important to us. If you sign up as a practitioner, what we're doing is we're taking the information that we would want our own clients to know. We can almost think of the folks going through the non-practitioner track as our clients. We want you to do well. We want you to have all the information you could possibly need so we can teach you to fish and send you on your way and know that you're going to do well. As a practitioner, what we're wanting you to do is think like a client, because I think at a certain point as practitioners, we know this information, we want people to consume it in a certain way, but we forget what it's like to be that person that's hungering for this information, that needs it in digestible bites, that needs it in a format that they can really understand. So we kind of underestimate how important that is to really get into your client's head and process information in the way someone looking for help is going to process that information, not the way a practitioner that already has everything figured out, which none of us do, but not that way. So both sides of this coin are really important to us. Whatever journey you're on, whether you're a practitioner or a client, we have created this for you. So I don't want people to feel like we're just worried about the practitioners or vice versa.
Well, and the reason we've addressed more practitioner questions is that people are more confused whether or not they would qualify as a practitioner, because anyone can really qualify as a student, and the practitioner course is more expensive. So honestly, you want to make sure that you're in the right place if you're going to make that investment. And it is an investment, but we take it really seriously. We take what you're getting from that very seriously, because we know that that's not pocket change for anybody. But we know that it's well beyond worth it in what we're going to give you, not only in the class, but the additional support that you'll get. And, what I do with people in terms of like any business coaching or any of that, folks who are in programs with me already always kind of have first dibs on that stuff. So I just kind of give you special attention there. Once it closes, if you're enrolled, you have access. But enrollment closes on the 16th, and module 1, which you already have access to. So if you've enrolled and you've paid, you can download the module 1 workbook. You can actually get started and be like ahead of the game for the first week of the course. So you will have plenty of time to do that. You'll have a minimum of 4 days from January 16th when enrollment closes to January 20th when it kicks off, to get your stuff printed if you want to send it to Kinko's or something like that, or FedEx, whatever it's called now, or like a Staples, which I highly recommend, just getting it printed and bound.
Congratulations. Would this be a bad time to enroll? Well, to what degree do you have your stuff together? Because when my baby was 4 weeks old, it was she was still a little sleepy, so maybe I had a lot of time during naps, but sometimes things kind of pick up and get a little more intense around 6 weeks, when baby was about 6 weeks old. So I don't know, lifetime access, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
If you don't want to miss out before 2018, since you do have continuous access and you can just kind of listen to the modules on your headphones and everything like that and get around to the worksheets when you can. I want to kind of say I don't know, but I also think it could be a really good motivator to be as healthy as you possibly can during what can be a really stressful and dysregulating time. So there you go.
You know what? I was kind of shaking my head no, but I think to take it just kind of at face value of let me learn from these videos, whatever I can absorb right now, and not maybe feel the pressure to have to perform to a certain level, you know, like watching the videos. I mean, you know, some of them are not that long. Maybe you have time to do that. But if you are pressuring yourself to fill out every workbook and journal every day, that might be a bit excessive of an expectation. But it's totally not required of any student to have to do all of that. It's just obviously what we want to encourage you to do to get the most that you can from it. So at that point, totally up to you. You know, if you're like, I really want to do this, then do it. Totally. They are limited because we can't have an unlimited number of people on live calls. But that being said, we're not trying to limit it just because. So January 16th is the last day for enrollment. So as we get closer to that, if it's getting filled up, we'll let you guys know. So if you're kind of like waiting and you're like, well, I have until the 16th, we're hopefully not going to have to close it early. But if that becomes an issue, we will definitely let you guys know through every channel as soon as we need to. We just don't want it to get out of control. Very cool. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, you can get more information at balancebites.com/masterclass. There's a student information page, and there's a link to the practitioner page right from there in a couple of different places. So make sure that you click over to read that page and all the FAQs at the bottom. If we still haven't answered your question there, if it wasn't answered in this video, go ahead and shoot us an email, masterclass@balancebites.com, and we will help you out. All right, we'll catch you guys soon. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you soon.